Hi and welcome back to another video of JPlay. I am Marcus and I already announced it on my channel the other day that I'm going to cover Slay the Spire. Back then I wasn't really sure if I should be covering the app version of the game, so I'm playing on iOS, not the PC version, or if I should be focusing on the board game. There were a lot of very good and helpful comments, and in the end I decided to go with the board game version first because you are following a board game channel. If there is appetite enough, I might still consider covering the app version of the game sooner or later, but today it's Slay the Spire, the board game, which I obviously have to play on Tabletop Simulator. As far as I know, the game hasn't been delivered, and there is an option to basically late back it for those of you, including myself, who have missed the Kickstarter, and I'm really considering to join that, quite honestly, because I'm really addicted to the app version and playing this game now, I think 2.5 times or so here on Tabletop Simulator. I think it's really a perfect conversion of the app version. I really like it a lot. If you don't know the game, fear not, I will walk you through the main mechanics as usual. And in order to keep things simple, I have decided to go with the Ironclad, the basic character of the game. The silent is pretty good, the defect is my favorite in the game, the watcher is really an odd duck, but again today I'm focusing on the Ironclad. But what is this game actually all about? So let's have a quick look at the rules that of course come with a Tabletop Simulator mod here. Slay the Spire is a cooperative roguelike deck building adventure. Craft a unique deck, encounter bizarre creatures, and yes, they're really quite bizarre. Discover relics of immense power and finally become strong enough to slay the Spire. And yeah, it's a deck builder. And again, I assume that you know what a deck builder is, but if not, I will walk you through as usual. So again, I have decided to play as the Ironclad, and the scripting of this mod is really truly amazing. Every button I clicked worked for me. I think this is not the first version of the game. I think they keep on, let's say, adding, and they keep on adding stuff, fixing stuff, but so far I really must say it's working quite perfectly actually. So let's click on the Ironclad, and then we have to click on Start Game. I really don't know what Act 1 Map B means and Act 4 keys means. I also don't know what the claw pack is, but I will definitely have the solo mode active. Yes, there is a solo mode and it works perfectly. You can play it up to 4 players as far as I understood. We are definitely playing on Ascension level 0. I think the game is difficult enough. So in the game, if you basically run through 3 acts of the game and you are successful, then you are ascending into the next level, and then you can go places and do more powerful stuff and more challenging stuff. But yeah, here and today we are going to focus on Ascension level 0. So let's click on Start Game. And some things are happening here. And once I'm done, I think I will set up some cameras and then I will walk you through the game as usual. The first thing that we have to look at is the Neo's Blessing card. I think there's a whole deck of cards and one is being handed out to each of the players. I'm playing solo. There's only one card here. This is very similar to the video game, by the way, and we have to make a call. First of all, we get everything that's in red. So we start the game with 3 money. In fact, as we are playing solo, we are starting the game with 5, so getting 2 more. And I think we are getting an extra card, which I have to add to my deck. I will do that in a second. Afterwards, we can then either upgrade an existing card. This is, I think, a very cool option. We could decide to go with 3 potions, also very nice, and 3 is the maximum right now. Or we can upgrade 2 random cards, and then we have to lose 2 HP, also health points basically. Before we do the one of the options here, I think let's set up for the first option up there. So first of all, we will go in here. So we will start the game. These are the 2 coins because we are playing solo, and these are the 3 coins we are getting from from Neo's Blessing. I think you always start the game with at least 3 coins. Because we are playing solo, we also have the loaded die here available, which is pretty much relic that we can activate if you're rolling a 4, 5 or a 6. A nice mechanic in the game, by the way. And apart from that, the only other thing to do is to go for the extra card. So let's do that. So first of all, we will go to the reward deck. So this is the reward deck. There is also a rare deck. We will give those a shuffle. We are drawing a standard reward card here. So let's flip it over. And that's an amazing card. Shrug It Off. I love this card in the video game as well, because it gives us 2 block and it allows us to draw a card for only 1. I mean, that's really an amazing start. I like our chances here, so we are adding this to our deck. Oops, that's the wrong button. And the cool thing is each of the 4 characters here has their own starting deck, their own reward deck, and I think also their own rare reward deck. So pretty amazing stuff. Very, very replayable, actually. So we have taken care of this, and next we have to check what we are going to do with Neo's Blessing. I think we are going to upgrade a card. We get to choose which card we are going to update, and I think we are simply going for, yeah, let's upgrade our normal strike card. And there is a cool scripting here as well. We put this here on the little upgrade button. We click upgrade, the existing card goes away, and here is our upgraded strike card. It's now green, it has a plus, and it now deals 2 damage instead of 1. Isn't that lovely? So let's put it in here. Let's flip this deck. Let's reshuffle the deck. Neo's Blessing is done. And then we are basically good to go. So we are starting our journey down here. This is a little boot meeple. Believe me, it's a boot, and here is our little miniature. This is pretty much our enemy row here. Again, for a 4-player game, each of the heroes has their own enemy row. I will not really go into much detail there. And the idea for this first act is to take one of these paths here. The map, I think there are 2 sides of this map, but what happens here is a little bit randomized by these tokens here. Something that works pretty well, and I have to basically search after we have encountered this very first room here which path to take. As there is a merchant up here, I think I might want to consider going there actually, but let's see about that. But ultimately we want to go up here to our first Act 1 boss, and I think I know which one this is, and you also kind of know that in the video game, so by this icon here. Yeah, I will not go into that detail here right now. And in order to start the game, we have to encounter the very first room here. This is the first encounter. This is a 4-card deck, at least in this version of the game. I don't really know if that's any different in the video game. Let's shuffle this, but there is a setup button for this one here too, and I think it's using one of those encounters randomly anyway. So let's simply do that. Let's click on the very first encounter, and here we are. What do we have? A red louse. It has a spawning ability, which is why we also have a green louse in here. They both have health values of 3, which is okay. They have their ability, then they have the curl up. The first time a louse takes damage from it, it gets 2 shield. Okay, something we have to remember, and that's the same thing in the video game as well. And here it's the same thing. So they have both the same abilities. They have slightly different abilities in respect to their die result, but I will cover those in a second. And then we are basically good to go to start our very first combat round. And there is a handy dandy overview here, so you see the combat round. I think I can even zoom in on this. So we start with the player turns, then stuff happens, so we get 3 energy, our block resets, we draw 5 cards, we roll the die, we trigger the abilities of the die. And the cool part about this die roll is we are only rolling this die for the entire combat round. Everything that is dependent on a die roll, so our abilities, the abilities of our enemies, is determined by this one die roll. Really cool stuff actually. I like this a lot. Then we are playing our cards, we can discuss, we can use potions, our relic, then we do our end of turn stuff, and then we move into the enemy turn. But ultimately we are going first. So let's move back to our player board here. So here we have our energy tracker. This is telling us how much energy we have. So all these cards have energy cost, and we have only 3. I think the maximum here is in theory 6. Our block right now is at 0. That's something that is always resetting at the start of a hero's turn and also at the start of the enemy turns. There are special abilities which allow you to carry over block, but we don't have that. We have 10 health points here. And our special ability here says end of combat we are healing 1 HP, which is pretty nice. So the first thing that will happen is now let's shuffle these cards again. We will basically draw 5 cards. So let's do that real quick. And what do we have? Okay, we have Shrug It Off, we have some strikes, and we have defense. I think that's a pretty good starting hand, and we even have our upgraded strike ability. So I like our chances. The next thing that we will do is to roll this die, and I will do that twice. And oh, close to a 6. A 2 doesn't really help us because it's triggering only on a 4, 5, or 6. But the 2 is still being used for our enemies up here. So let's look for the red louse. On a 2, it's only getting a strength token, or it's getting more, it's strengthening itself basically from round to round. And for the green louse on a 2, it's simply dealing us 1 point of damage. So we already know what we have to deal with this round. We are only taking 1 point worth of damage. So that's really not too bad. We have the defense, we have this one here. Question now really is, I think we can take care of this first red louse here. The problem is, yeah, the first time it takes damage from sword, it will basically generate 2 shields, and the same is true here. So I think we will not be able to take either of these out, but that's all the more reason to maybe let's play the first card. This comes with energy cost, of 1 in the top left corner, so we have to basically reduce our energy by 1. We have 3, so we are going down to 2, believe me. But then we are getting 2 shield, and we are allowed to draw a card. So first of all, we spend our energy, we are getting 2 shield, and we are allowed to draw a card. Nicely. Oh, we have the bash. Okay, the bash is something we want to consider, but maybe not, because I think we are not able to defeat one of these guys anyway. So no, I think not. So let's move back to our enemies here. Next, I think we are going to play the Strike Plus. Again, it costs us 1 energy, and I think we are assigning this to the red louse. We are dealing 1, 2 damage. Then we are checking the curl up ability here. The first time louse takes damage from sword, it gets 2 shield. Okay, that's definitely a bummer. Of course, we have to get rid of the shield before we are able to do any damage to that, quite obviously, right? Then we have another card. We can play the bash. We don't have the energy for, because again, we have only 1 energy left. We don't need any more defense because again, we only take 1 point of damage. So I think let's simply play another strike. And this time we will assign it to this green louse here, also giving it 1, 2 block. 2 block is pretty nasty, actually, I must say. I don't like that. In the video game, these are really very basic enemies, and but okay, they're also losing their shield at the start of their next turn. So I think, yeah, nothing to be really worried about. But we have spent all our 3 energy, so let's bring these cards together. Let's zoom down here. It's a standard deck builder, so we have to discard our entire hand, and then we are moving back to the enemies. They will now trigger. Well, first of all, what will happen now is they will get 1 strength here, because that's their ability. Yes, and at the start of their turn, they will also get rid of their block, so this is already gone. It will not carry over. They don't have that ability, but in theory, they are strengthened. So they're adding 1 more damage if they're ever doing damage. Same thing here. These damage marker go away. That's basically shown. I can prove it to you. First thing that will happen, remove enemy block. So that's what's happening here. And then they will do 1 point of damage, which really isn't a problem because we have 2 block. So we are not taking any damage whatsoever. And that's already the first round of combat done. Okay, let's start the next round of combat. Again, we are resetting our block, we are resetting our energy. Then we are drawing 5 cards. So that's basically what we have to deal with. We should be able to get rid of at least one of these pesky guys. We also have to roll our die. Whoop. And that's a 5. A 5 is amazing. We are triggering our loaded die, so we are getting 1 block right off the bat. But of course, let's also check what the 5 means for our enemies. The red louse will do 1 damage and the green louse will do 2 damage. The curl up we can ignore because the first time is already done. They would do now 2 damage as well because they have the strength token, right? The strength token is deal 1 damage each, yeah, plus 1 damage. Okay, but we are going first. The first action is relatively straightforward. We will take care of this louse. So this strength token is no more. We can flip it over. This is no more. This sucker here will do 2 points worth of damage. The problem is if we would have 2 more strikes, we would have been able to take it out. But in this case, we will simply do 1 more damage. So it's going down to 1. We will play 1 defense, which means our block goes down to 2. Then we have spent all our energy here. So let's do some clean up. Let's put it in here. We will discard our hand. We will reset our deck. Let's shuffle it some more. And this is, by the way, really a thing in this game. Everything that you play is immediately going into your discard pile. It's not going into a play area. Only at the moment or during the moment when you are doing stuff on that card will that card be active. Once you have fully resolved the card, it's going straight to the discard pile. So you can keep drawing the same cards all over again, which is, I think, quite unique in the game like this. But then let's see what this is doing. It's doing 2 damage to us. You already have seen this. We have 2 blocks, so we are not taking any damage whatsoever. So we are moving into the probably last fight, a combat round of this very first encounter. I think we did shuffle, and if we are now drawing one of these strike cards, we should be pretty much good to go. Let's draw our 5 cards. So in this case, we don't really have to go through the hassle. We are simply playing this strike card. It's doing 2 damage, so we are overcommitting. So this sucker is also out of here. We have won our very first encounter. Hooray! Let's check for the rewards. We are getting 1 coin and we are getting 1 more card. So this is now really the deck building aspect of the game, which also works so nicely in the video game, but definitely also here. So let's take the 1 coin here. And then we are going over to the rewards again. We are not shuffling again because stuff could go to the bottom of the deck. Let's simply flip. And it's another attack, a twin strike. This is amazing for the Ironclad. Oh yeah, I think this worked to be perfect actually. So let's put it in here. Let's discard our hand. Everything goes into the pile here anyway when we're starting our new combat encounter. But that's basically the end of our very first encounter. I think this was pretty nice. There is a cool script to remove all of those enemies. Oh, and I forgot to place this guy into our draw pile. It's our upgraded card, so we definitely want to make sure to have it in our during our next encounter. Okay, then we have to make a choice. I think I want to move towards this merchant here, so we have to take this route here. This means we have to draw our very first event card of the game. Let's scroll over here. So we have 12 for Act 1, so I think that's pretty good replayability here as well. Let's flip it over, and what do we have? Wing statue. You notice an intricate large blue statue resembling a wing. You will find gold spilling from its cracks. Maybe there is more inside. Remove a card, lose 2 HP. And by the way, I could have healed, but I didn't take any damage. Or we could gain 2 gold. Remove a card is pretty amazing, actually, to lose 2 HP. I think that's what we are going to do. So basically strengthening our deck. Yeah, let's definitely do that. We lose 1, 2 HP. Let's flip our deck. I think, yeah, not the twin strike, of course. I think I will get rid of this strike card over here. Let's bring these guys, oops, back in here. Let's flip it, let's shuffle it. So I think we have strengthened our deck. Nicely done. I think this simply goes to the bottom of the respective deck. Could be wrong. That's already our first event of the game. All right, so let's move over here. Now we have to follow here, so we have to set up for our next encounter. This time we are not going for a starting encounter, we are going for a standard encounter, but there's also a script for that, so let's see what we get. Ooh, slime. Yeah, that's not so. The small slime is bringing acid slime and spike slime. The small slime is really not the problem. The acid slime and the spike slime certainly is. Okay, then, yeah, let's go into our first round of combat. So we already know the drill. We will draw 5 cards. What did we get? Only rubbish. Only rubbish. Then we have to roll our die. 3 is definitely not good enough. Does it do anything for them? Okay, here we get a week. That's okay. Here we get a days. And here we get a damage anyway. So in total, we take 2 points worth of damage. So maybe a good reason now to play 2 defend cards. And maybe 1 strike. I think we have to start somewhere, right? Taking those guys out. And the stronger cards come. The bash is nice because it would give a vulnerable to another hero. And vulnerable with our twin strike would be amazing. But as we have just lost 2 health points because we have removed a card, I think I don't want to take any further damage. So we are playing 2 defense cards here, which gives us 2 block, and we are going to play 1 strike. Main question now is, which enemy are we? And we don't have to go from left to right, in case you're wondering. Do we want to get rid of this here? But this is an ongoing one, or should we start? I think this is the pesky one. Let's go for No, I think let's try to get rid of enemies, because again they activate, and this is really a constant damage we are taking here. At least there is a chance that we can get a weak. Okay, but I think this was basically our turn, so I will do some clean up. So we will discard our hand. We had 2 blocks, right? And we had spent all our energy. Exactly. So what are our enemies doing? I mean, here we are taking 1 point of damage. Here we are taking a weak token, and I really must not forget that. And I think weak is explained. Is it explained here? Yeah. Deal -1 damage on each sword in the next attack, and an attack is, I believe, the whole entire card. So if we're now playing the twin strike first, then we would lose basically 1 each of those. So let's not do that. So we have dealt with that. We have now dealt with that. We are down to 1 block because of this. Then we are doing this. We are taking another damage, but again, we had 2 blocks. But what we can't ignore, unfortunately, is the days card here. So we are taking 1 of those. We are flipping this to the other side, and it goes on top of our deck. So it's simply clogging up our deck, but it's ethereal, so we will lose it basically at the end of the next round, right? And I think that's already the combat round done. Okay, we still have cards in our deck, so we will draw top 4. Here's no surprise. We have this card here, put on top of your draw pile. It's unplayable and it's ethereal. Ethereal really means if you still have this in your hand at the end of your turn, you will exhaust it. And exhaust really means it's pretty much out of the game for this combat. So what do we have here? An awful lot of... Oh, this is so terrible. Okay, here we can draw a card. I think we should be able to draw another card. The thing is, we are still weak, so this first card is basically a 0. That's terrible. Okay, let's roll this die. And it's a 6. Okay, a 6 means we can trigger a die ability, which can be its own ability here. So this is definitely good. So we have 1 block right off the get. We should have reset it. I forgot it. I will keep forgetting, but I will try to remember or keeping track of the game state. Then we have our 3 energy, and these are the cards that we have. So what's the game plan? I think first of all we have to play the Shrug It Off, right? Because we need to draw an additional card. So let's do that. And okay, that's the Twin Strike. Okay, I think this might be okay. We are getting 2 more defense because of the, I keep forgetting the name, Shrug It Off, I believe. And then we have spent our very first energy. Exactly. Then we are playing our Strike. Oops, we have to play it here because we are weak. It's basically a 0. So, but then we can get rid of the weak. So that's at least something. And then we are playing our Twin Strike. So this is an attack and this is an attack. So this attack has cancelled the weak. Now we are playing the Twin Strike, which basically deals 2 damage and for 1 each. And of course we are assigning this to the small slime here. So this sucker is out of here. Nicely done. Then I think we had a 6, right? Yeah. And a 6 means, oh, 6 is terrible. We are taking, 2 points of damage each. Okay, that's pretty nasty. And we are taking our ethereal card right back, actually. But I think let's do these things in order. We are putting this in here. The ethereal, again, is now gone because we haven't played it. These cards are discarded. Unfortunately, now they're triggering. They are doing 4 damage each. So we are basically going down to 0 and taking 1 point of damage here. This was pretty bad, actually. And then we are getting this card right back. Truly terrible. And then we are going into the next round of combat. Okay, let's see. We still have 2 cards in our deck. One of those is not really a surprise. Then we have to flip these guys over. So normal deck building rules apply. We still have to draw 3 more cards. Okay. Oh, that's not too bad, actually. Let's see about that. We still have to roll our die. It's a 5. Okay, so it seems we are getting our block right back. We are getting back to 3. And then what are we going to do? With the 5, it's basically the same result. So we're getting our dazed back. And we take 4 points worth of damage, and we only have 1 point. And I think we are not able to kill either of those. I think we have to play 2 defense cards, right? Because otherwise we are taking too much hits. Then here it really doesn't matter if we are using the strike or the twin strike, because here we're doing 2 points worth of damage with 1 strike. Here we're doing 1 each. So let's go for the upgraded card. And I think this is the nastier one because, yeah, we have 2 times 2. So I think we are assigning both of those hits in here, and then we can basically do the end of round stuff and everything together. So we are grouping this together. Again, they are doing 2 points worth of combats each, and this card would have been, again, remove the ethereal card, but again, due to that, we get it right back, the dazed one, and we are still taking 1 point worth of damage because, yeah, I forgot that, of course, we have played 2 defense here, 2 shields. So again, we are taking 1 point of damage and going down here. This card, let's flip it, we put it here, and then we are discarding our hand, and then we will go into the next round of combat. And I really hope we will be able to at least take out the leftmost sucker here. Okay, so we still have cards in our deck, and okay, we have the Shrug It Off. That's good. That allows us to draw a card. That's at least something. But I think the good cards are all in here, right? Yeah, that wasn't great. Let's roll that die, right? And oh, a 6 again. But again, this means we are taking a lot of beating, actually. So let's take that die over here. And I'm now not sure. Did I treat this as a 6 and did I roll a 4? Or maybe I have missed something. If so, I'm terribly sorry about that, but I will not take it back. A lot of things are happening here, but we know this round they're really doing this. So I think first of all, we will definitely play the Shrug It Off, because otherwise we don't have, and we might not have enough damage anyway, right? Because I still have 3. Are you kidding me? Okay, so but we are taking 2 points more of block. That's nice. We are drawing an extra card, which is, yeah, we are not making it. We are not making it. Are you kidding me? Okay, we will play 1 defend now, because we will not take them out anyway, but this brings us to 4 blocks, so we are not taking any damage. But again, we are taking the days back, so that's really terrible. Then we are playing 1 more strike. Of course, we are assigning it here. They're down at 2, at least. Again, I hope I didn't miss this one up. And then they are triggering. And now it's really clear. We have 4 defense. We're getting 4 hits, and we are simply getting the only thing that really changed. We are getting, oh, it's not really changing. We get the days card right back. This doesn't work. Let's group it. Oops. Let's bring it down. Yeah, I think it's much easier. So we take it out of the hand. We are putting this on top of our draw pile. We are discarding our hand. This goes down to 0. This goes back to 3. Then we are starting the next round of combat. We still have 3 cards in our hand, so we have to draw those. So now we have the bash. Then let's flip it. We need 2 more cards. Shuffle. 1 defense. Okay, that could be problematic, but let's see what we are rolling actually. Another 6. Okay. In this case, I think this might really work, because we should be able to take this sucker out. So we are taking 2 points of damage from this guy. That's certain, but I think we are getting rid of the days, at least for the next round to come. So let's play the bash. It does 2 points of damage, and it would assign a vulnerable, but again, as this guy is now dead, we don't worry about him anymore. We flip it, and then, yeah, let's play for the third. It costs 2 energy points, and then we are getting to 2 shields, which is exactly enough to basically block the damage of this guy here. So we should be okay, and the good thing really is we will get rid of our days. We will leave it nearby, because there is still a chance we could get it back. Let's discard our hand. Right, I think that's that. And then again, I'm not sure if this will be the last round of combat, but at least it's a round of combat. So let's keep going for now. Twin strike. Oh, we have the Shrug It Off back, so that's not bad. And oh, again, it's a 6. Okay, we hold on to the block, and we know what they are doing. So I think they're doing 2 damage. So we will definitely play 1 shield, right? Oh no, we're not playing this shield. Of course, we are playing the Shrug It Off shield, because this allows us to draw a card, and then maybe we get, yeah, we have at least some strikes now in our hand. So this costs us 1 energy. Let's move back. Then we are playing the Twin Strike. This does 1 damage, then another damage, and then we are playing the Normal Strike, which does this damage here. We already know we have enough defense, so we don't really need to worry about this. So let's bring it down. Let's discard our hand. Let's reset for the round, and this should be really, it is only 1 card left, it seems like it. So let's draw that. Okay, it's our upgraded, so we have basically won this fight. So I think there is no point in me. We will draw the cards anyway. We will roll the die, and that's a 1. 1 doesn't really help us. On a 1, it does 2 damage. It would make us vulnerable, but because we have our upgraded strike, we are doing 1-2 points worth of damage. So this guy is also out of here. Oof. Okay, this has taken much longer than it should have, but okay, I take it. We have taken some beating. Let's not forget to trigger our end of combat ability here, but let's also see what our reward is. We're getting 1 measly coin for that. Are you kidding me? And we are getting a card. I mean, I'm pretty sure they more or less everyone gets us a card actually. So let's move over here. Let's see what we get. Disarm. Oh, we can apply 2 weak tokens and then we would exhaust. That's not bad. Exhaust means again we can pretty much play it once per combat, and we can now opt to not play it. But I think it's an okay card. We have taken some cards, some good attack cards, so I think we should be okay. Let's reset the deck. Let's simply still reshuffle that. We will leave this one nearby. We might still need it anyway. Let's do some cleanup. And then I think we are moving on. Should we keep going? Shouldn't we? Yeah, let's do one more event. Now we could decide to branch out, but I really want... Oh, but okay. Okay, here's the point. We would meet a merchant, which is good, but then we are meeting an elite encounter. Okay, maybe it's not that good of a deal. This is a campsite which would allow us to rest, or we would be allowed to upgrade a card. Ooh, that's now a very interesting point. I don't really feel prepared to take on an elite enemy. Yes, we have taken some good upgrades and we have the weak ability, so maybe it's okay. No, let's stay on target. Let's stay on target. So we will keep going and we will draw our next event. What did we have here? An ancient temple. You come across an ancient temple, you sure don't see any traps. We gain 1 relic, lose 1 HP. Oh, we can leave. No. I want to show you as much as possible. So we are getting our very first relic. So let's draw that card. Let's flip it over. It's a golden idol. End of combat, we are getting one more gold. That's not particularly great, quite honestly. But as we are moving towards a merchant, I think I'm okay with that, actually. So let's bring it here. I think we can have as many relics as we want, but we are limited to 3 potions. I think, could be wrong, but we are losing 1 health point and we are flipping this. This again goes to the bottom of the respective deck, and that's basically the event for this encounter. Okay, let's do one more encounter for today. We will move towards this merchant here, and I think there is also a button here. It basically says up here, for the merchant, flip this board over, but of course, again, there is a button for this. Let's try that. Wheel quick, and there we are. Isn't that lovely? So the way how this works is we are drawing basically 3 relics, we are drawing 3 potions, and then we reveal 3 cards. Rewards, and they cost 2, 3, or 6. 1, 2, 3. Let's flip those and then let's bring them up here. Okay, a blue card costs us 3, a gray card costs 2. True crit, that's nice, but that's exhaust. Okay, this is different now. Exhaust a card in your hand. Here I get to choose, and exhaust a card in your hand could be a good thing actually, because it could be a malicious card, for example, as well, but sometimes it's also a bad card. This is okay. We could get 3 block and to any player, which would be us in this case. How much money do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At 5 we have received 2, so 7 cards. What kind of relics do we have? We have the Duvu doll. Gain strength when you draw a curse. I don't know. We don't have any curses yet. The mutagen. Start of combat. We would basically start the combat with a strength, but we would lose 1 strength at end of turn. I don't know. The back of preparation. Start of combat, drew 2 extra cards. This can be nice. We can also pay 3 to remove a card, but only once per player. We can also go for these potions here. We could gain 2 more potions when we play this. Deal 4 damage. That isn't bad at all. And heal 2 HP. I think this is a good card. So I think we will go for the blood potion here for 3 money. Yeah, I think this is pretty solid actually. And then maybe we will also go for this power through, which costs us 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Then we are basically out of money, but okay, that's what it is. Let's shuffle our deck. But at least we have some more stuff. This money goes away. Let's group this together. Let's flip this. This goes to the oops. This doesn't work here actually, but they go to the bottom of the reward deck. And that's basically the market step done, right? So we will exit merchant mode. Everything else is getting discarded. This is really so nicely scripted. And I think I will end my playthrough here. I really do hope that you enjoyed it so far, and I will leave it up to you if you want me to continue or not. So the next fight should be a rather interesting one, so I will try to take out an elite enemy. Good thing is I have a healing potion with me. I have a good amount of blocks, so I'm really hopeful. So let's see how things go there. Again, I will also consider playing the app version of the game. Maybe I will also get the PC version or so and see how things go. Maybe it's better to record. Let's see about that. But I'm also relatively certain that I will try to late back the game. Late pledge the game actually, because I really like this game a big deal. I really truly think it captures the spirit of the video game in such a beautiful way. It's really such a fun game to play, and I think it's also very fun to play this in a multiplayer mode. So in the multiplayer mode you have basically 4 of these combat rows here, and every monster is basically dealing damage to the enemy of the side. If one of the enemy heroes dies, we all lose the game. But the cool thing is this hero can also do damage to, let's say, enemies in a different row. That is possible, so you can really help each other out. And I think from what I have seen in respect to balancing, I think they really have done an amazing job. So yeah, let me know if you want me to continue. I really hope I'm able to save the game state here properly. If not, then I can't continue, but I'm hopeful. And before I forget, huge shout out to all of my patrons and channel members out there. You guys are truly amazing. So if you want to support my little channel here, you will find a link to my Patreon. You can join me here on YouTube. There is a little thanks button below the video. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, everything helps. And yeah, with that being said, hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And until then, bye bye.